back. Eric here with a short guide for reputation grinding. Today I'll be briefly touching on reputations and tips and tricks to help you grind reputations to exalted. If you're going for 100 reps, good luck. I will later be covering each expansion from Vanilla to BFA and shortly Shadowlands, where I expect to go into full details on specific reputations, catch-up mechanics, and the levels of difficulties for some of these reputations. The first thing you need to get comfortable with in general is questing. If you've played WoW 1 minute, you will understand that questing is WoW. So if you don't like questing, perhaps this is not for you. So, to break it down briefly, questing has been the backbone of WoW since its inception. And the good news is that if you enjoy questing, the majority of reputations are directly linked to quests. In later expansions, dailies were introduced, and even the most recent expansions, World Quest content made it even easier to grind out reputations. That being said, it's going to be the biggest way to chunk away at those reputation bars. So get comfortable with that. There are also some reputations that require you to turn in farmed items and sometimes even rare items in order to gain rep with them, which can make it more time consuming and painful since looting will have to be done. The bad news is that the majority of these items are bind on pickup and cannot be found for sale on the auction house, so that kind of sucks a little bit. But fear not, reputations like these tend to be grindable since there is no cap on these quest turn-ins. The next important thing you need to know about rep grinding is that there are some reputations that only require killing mobs of an opposing faction to gain rep. These tend to be the harder ones in the sense that some mobs might be spread out thin. Spawn rates might be low, and generally they sometimes don't grant very much rep, making the process a little bit agonizing. The good news, these types of reps are not gated by anything, so typically you can make a custom group and usually chunk away at a good portion within a few hours. Sometimes even just grind out the entire reputation. Lastly, there are some reputations that only are gained from dungeons and even raids. Depending on your standing with the faction, trash mobs will grant you reputation with a faction until a certain point, and then once you reach a higher standing, you'll notice that only boss kills will grant you a meaningful amount of reputation. This is true for both dungeons and raids, and unfortunately, once you hit a raid lockout, you're pretty much done for the week with that faction. The good news about reps being tied to dungeon bosses and trash is that you'll be able to do these dungeons on hard mode or heroic, and then normal mode to continue gaining rep. In addition, these dungeons can be reset on normal mode and you can continue to do this as many times as you'd like. Although sometimes it gets a bit tedious in dungeons when they don't have an easy way back to the entrance. Finally, there are things like Bear Tartar, Crispy Bacon that will help you on those spread out mobs, and Dark Moonfare Top Hat that can help you get more rep for your grinding. When you can go for these, of course, grab them up, but I wouldn't wait around for the Dark Moonfare to start your grind. Happy grinding and stay tuned for more videos.